What's up, everybody? This is Python. Gonna be streaming today some games from CPL with a good friend and co-admin, Laser Snipe.
Hey everybody.
Today we're gonna be doing Chobos with Attitude versus Team Beast B Team. So these guys were cast sometime last week, but only the 18 matches, so we're gonna be finishing that up. We're still on week 5, even though week 6 just completed. A little behind on cast this week, but we should be getting caught up shortly. But that A-Team series went 3-0, I think. Oh no, it went 2-1. Went
Yeah, it was
2-1 in
2-1
favor of
for
Team
Beast.
Beast. Yep. So B-Team matches, you're gonna have to see what happens, but Team Beast coming into it with a 2-1 lead. And we've got this first game set up as a ZVZ. We got Allandaritay versus Sir Dubadoof.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, ZVZ is kind of a crazy matchup. Anything can happen. Anyone can win these.
Absolutely. Yeah, and B Team ZVZ is even more volatile because the timing windows are just so short that, any better player can miss something very crucial and just die. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
I am ready when you are, sir.
All right, let's check it out. See how it goes. Yeah, I know the A-Team matches were actually all really close. If you haven't checked those out yet, you should check them out. They were all 2-1s, so pretty hype. We'll have to see if the B team can do their part. We'll take it down. Close match.
Yep, so here we have on the left side of Crossing Fields, the Orange Zerg Sir Dubadoof.
And on the right side, we have the Teal Zerg Allandaritay with 3 Ys.
What's up, Gorgo? It is a weird time to do a cast. We're just trying to get these casts in when we can. And this is CWA, and they're all in the Eurozone, so hopefully it's good for them.
Yeah, could be a good time for them.
So I would say generally maps don't matter too much, especially in mirrors and especially in ZVZ, but crossing fields is sort of one exception, because the option to go one base versus two base really matters when you have a ramped second gas. So it is much more feasible to go for sort of a turtley, faster expand style and try to abuse that second gas. Whereas if your opponent goes for the faster pull, 9 pull, over pull aggression, they really have to get up that ramp and do damage, otherwise they're super far behind.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, you can easily hold the top of your ramp with a good concave of Zerglings and expand behind. We'll see if any player wants to do that. It looks like they're both opting for pool first in this case.
Yep, so we are going to see pulls. Actually, a lot of extractor tricks going down. Sir Dubadoof did one a little bit earlier. Alan, they're already doing it one now after the pull is down. But Dubs is going to go for the extractor here and keep it. So Allandaritay, this is a little atypical to go for a fast pull without gas, but it can be done. Generally, if you're going for a fast pull, you're either going to be trying to get that lair or the speedlings going as fast as possible, so you do need to get the gas. But this option lets you pump lings and still get a possible second hatchery somewhere, so might be playing to the map a little bit.
That could be true. We'll have to see if Sir Dubadoof here wants to go for a fast lair, if he's going to go for speedlings. I think you have the choice of either getting your lair or speedlings with your first 100 gas, and we do see he's pulling off a couple drones off now. So I imagine that means he's going to go for speed.
Yeah, definitely.
Early
Yeah, just getting lair tech certainly isn't enough. You're going to want some gas to get the spire. So if you ever see a Zerg pull off gas, pull most of the drones off gas, only one left mining, then that layer is going to be quite delayed. But both players with their early Zerglings are going to be sending them out. Now you do have to be careful on this map. It's possible to just pass each other depending on which route you take. So you can end up with Zerglings in their base and they have Zerglings in yours. Looks like that's not going to happen here. One Zergling way out in front for Sir Dubadoof. And actually just on move command getting free hits.
Yeah.
This kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all it can take to really turn a ZVZ. So that's actually 6 lings from Allandaritay still alive. So Sir Dubadoof is going to need to get that ramp controlled. He may even opt to go for a sunken here. Going to make it complicated with lings on both sides of Allandaritay's force, but not going to be able to control his ramp by doing this. So this is going to be micro in 2 places.
Yeah, I think he lost 5 lings there for free, which isn't good. We can see him throwing down a couple of creep colonies here just to try and survive. I don't know if it's going to be enough though. Like, he has no lings. He's just hitting at the sunkens now. Like, he's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, and we saw a drone just pop up as well. I mean, at this point in the game, you really can't be droning. And allandaritay has enough to take out both Sunkens. The drones really need to get in that fight and try to keep those Sunkens up. Meanwhile, back in allandaritay's base, the pool is being targeted, but I don't think he's going to mind that too much because there's almost no drones left for Dubadoof.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get the pool down, and it doesn't look he's going to, then he wouldn't be able to produce more Zerglings. And if he could defend, maybe he could get back into this, but he's taken a lot of damage now. He's lost a lot of drones, where allandaritay is still, like, just fine. He still has his pool. He's getting his lair just finished now.
Yeah, so
he's
the
in a better position.
Dubadoof gets the sunken up, but it is sort of in a weird position since this was the third sunken he tried to make. I'm not sure if this is adequately going to cover this mineral. So it could be really difficult for him to keep those drones alive still. Meanwhile, I actually have a Spire already started for allandaritay. So even though opting for that slightly later gas, you know, when you take damage like this, things can flip on their head. So allandaritay has a massive advantage going into the mid game here, and mid game in ZVZ doesn't take very long. Got a W. I guess y'all asking for a pause. Or no.
Or a
well
GG.
played. Well played.
Well played. Okay.
So I guess he had the Overlord in the base. He saw the Spire timing. He saw his own econ. Decided to just tap out. And honestly, that was a lot of damage because even though he was redroning now, I mean, can I even select these right now? Yeah, we have 8 drones for Dubadoof, and at least 8. There might be one in the extractor for allandaritay. So drone parity, tech, and all of these Zerglings on the map. It's really, really tough to come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, basically he was behind in everything. Tech, like you said, behind in tech, behind in unit count, behind in economy. It was a tough spot. The only thing he had was the sunken, and it wasn't even that well placed. He couldn't really protect everything he had, so.
Yeah, and that is how ZVZs go, friends. I mean, that first initial Zergling fight just puts you in such a risky place if you lose it that badly with basically lost 4 Zerglings for free. And at that point, it's really hard to come back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is ZVZ. Anything can happen. We'll see. I mean, Fighting Spirit's a little more normal map. I'm sure both our players are very comfortable on this map.
Yeah, both have definitely played more games here.
Yeah, I would say so. We'll have to see if Sir Dubadoof can bring it back here for a game 3.
And we got a co-caster Chess in the chat saying when you see that Spire, your gut sinks. Absolutely. When you know that you're just that far behind in tech, it's like, uh-oh, this is going to be a hard game.
Oops. What just happened? No. All right. So let's see here. We got the white Zerg up here in the top right, who is down a game from Team Beast, Sir Dubadoof.
And then the bottom left cross position, we have allandaritay, the purple Zerg for Team Chobos with Attitude.
What do you think about cross position? I imagine it doesn't make too much of a difference in ZVZ, but maybe it's like a little bit longer rush distance.
Actually, it does make a difference in terms of, you know, it really depends on what the builds are, and we actually see Sir Dubadoof pulling minerals, so this is going to be a straight up 4 pull, and in that case, it could matter quite a bit. That those extra seconds just finding your opponent and getting your lings over there can make all the difference in terms of what they have to defend. So we will have to see what allandaritay decides to go for. I mean, if this is like even a 12 pull is going to be in serious trouble here. So if he goes for the same build as last time, he should be able to defend this, but anything else, he might just die.
Actually, it was a 5 pull, but he sent one of the drones to scout.
Oh, good catch.
Yeah.
Good catch. I didn't notice that. Yeah, so a 5 pull with a drone scout. That's very unusual. I mean, this is good in the fact that he will know exactly where to send his Zerglings, but the second allandaritay even sees this drone scout, he's gonna know something's weird. And we do have a pretty early pull from allandaritay, so this is gonna be a tough fight for Dubadoof.
Yeah, especially being cross map. I mean, it just buys allandaritay a bit more time to get his Zerglings up and defend, especially when he finds out it's coming, or if he finds out.
No, I really like that move. Dubadoof saw the creep and pulled out, so allandaritay did not see the drone. So that's really good control from him. That's a nice advantage. I was wondering if he would go for a sunken cheese along with this. I mean, it's already pretty all in. You've already got your drone at their base. Sending it back to mine isn't going to help you that much. So starting a sunken while the lings are on the way could be a really good way to make this stronger push. But opting to send it back to his base, 6 lings are already out. 6 lings are now morphing for allandarity. So this is really just a build order disadvantage that's going to be super hard to come back from, especially cross position.
Yeah, I mean, Allandarity's economy is already well ahead. He's going to have enough Zerglings to defend, as long as his control's fine, or if he just puts them up on the ramp. It looks like he's sending them out, so they're probably going to meet here in the middle, and he's going to be like, oh, he got lings faster than me. What's going on? Right?
Yeah, and
I
you can
think he's gonna be
see,
fine.
yeah, just the fact that it's cross position. Oh, and we have the same
Oh
thing with
no!
move commands.
Big
So
things left.
that is not good. So if I would say anything to Sir Dubadoof, you got to make sure those lings are on attack, or you need to be very, very careful of their control, because these free hits are just killing you. Actually attacking the pool straight up, so that is not going to be a good choice, my friend. The lings are going to get us around, and you're not going to get any drone damage there. So at this point, the economy is massively in Allandarity's advantage. And Sir Dubadoof's only hope is to control his own ramp here. He needs to just mass lings and hold position in the concave. Looks like he is going to be going for a creep colony, but that's not going to be able to guard the ramp. So, he's not going to have enough to hold the ramp. He's going to have to just micro around. But you really need to stage at the ramp, buy yourself as much time as possible. And it looks like speed is actually kicked in for Allandarity. So that is going to be really tough. Slowlings versus speedlings is not a fight you want to take.
Yeah, and he lost like all those lings for free attacking the pool too. He got no lings of Allandarities. We do see he gets his sunken up in time, so he can probably hold off here for the time being.
Yeah, you
But he's
shouldn't die to
still,
this.
yeah, but he's still massively behind.
Right, so typically, if you're this far behind in tech, we have the Spire now started for Allandarity. You really just need to spore up. But because he went for a 5-pull, he barely has the drones. So if he's going to attempt to build some spores, he's going to cut his mining down to like 3 mining drones. There's not a great follow-up for him, unfortunately. And it looks like Allandarity is not letting up on the lings, so the one hope for some sort of ling counterattack is not really going to be available to them. And he is going to guard his ramp, so even if he didn't have more lings, they would be much more efficient in this defensive posture. Oh,
He's
actually
moving
poking
them
through.
down, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so
Allandarity just has more lings, more
this is
everything.
this is just super tough. I mean, you would need at least 1.5 times the amount of purple lings to push up this ramp just because of this concave. So the fact that Sir Dubadoof has slow lings and actually less of them, that just shows you what that build order loss can do for you.
Oh,
And
and a
full
bad,
surrounds.
yeah, and a bad engagement for him too.
That's one of the big differences between speed versus not speed, is that you get the surround on your opponent when you have speed. So that makes your lings just even that much more efficient. And the Spire is now complete. We do have gas, minerals, and supply and larva for 3 mutas. So I expect those to pop in really good timing. So Allandarity on top of his builds. Very strong play from him. We have a second hatch started for Sir Dubadoof. He's switching that now to an Evo chamber. So
Yeah,
that's the right call. Definitely doesn't have the economy to support 2 hatches at the moment.
He also started a gas and canceled it. I don't know if you noticed, and sent it back to mine. So I think he's aware of this and just like, I got to get a spore now to survive.
Yeah, so he still has the Overlord in Allandarity's base, so he knows the mutas are on the way. And this spore will be a little bit late, I think. He needs to be morphing it now. There it goes. So it's barely going to finish due to being cross position. But 1 spore is not going to be enough. As that muta count goes up, they can eventually just kill spores. Not to mention, he can't really cover his ramp. So if the mutas are guarding the ramp, then Allandarity switches to lings, and he's just going to overrun him.
Yeah, and Allandarity is now killing the Overlord of Sir Dubadoof in his base. He's pressuring with these mutas. He's not really allowing Sir Dubadoof anything. He's just kind of keeping him contained in his base here.
Yeah, this is actually a really strong move. You send your first 3 mutas because you want to be able to try to get some damage. You don't know if they're going to be prepared with the spore or not. You have much more chance of sniping drones, things like that. And then with that 4th muta, sniping the Overlord that stayed in your base. I mean, 100 minerals in a low econ ZVZ like this is such a big deal. Not to mention the larva. I mean, Sir Dubadoof's stuck on a single hatchery, so having to spend 1 of those larvae on an Overlord sets him even farther behind.
Yeah, exactly. And is this muta going to find his other Overlord? It looks like it's just going to miss it, kind of at the top of the map there. Oh, maybe. if he finds that and kills that off, that's just going to be another big hit to Sir Dubadoof. Looks like he's going to just miss it though.
Yeah, smart move to go looking for that, and Allandarity is going to take his expansion now as he continues to build up his forces. Actually droned pretty heavily while he had the muta advantage, so his economy is looking quite strong. He still has a good Ling force, going to protect from any attacks, and he still has an Overlord in the natural, so he's going to see these Lings move out. They still don't have speed. Sir Dubadoof's been so poor that he hasn't been able to get his gas until just about now. We see a Hydra Den coming out from Sir Dubadoof, so that's an interesting transition here. I don't dislike that. You're not going to be able to catch up in the muta game, so potentially trying to catch your opponent off guard with some Hydra play is a good call, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. You don't normally see Hydras in ZVZs. Every once in a while you'll see them, because mutas are just more mobile and everything, but Allandarity is going to be aware of this. He can see the Hydraless Den, so we'll see if he's prepared for that or if he knows how to handle the Hydras coming out of Sir Dubadoof.
Yeah, and you can see that this one spore doesn't fully cover everything, so second spore has to be made. That is a drone and quite a few minerals. But now this muta harass is going to have to go home. But this whole time that Allandarity's been keeping up the pressure, he has been starting his second expansion. That's almost up, ready to mine. He's going to have enough drones that he can get that second gas going. And he actually has 800 gas banked, so he can make a ton of mutas now.
Yeah. A couple more Overlords and he could just outmass in mutas and run over Sir Dubadoof, I think.
Yep, definitely. And one of the reasons you don't see Hydras that much is because muta control and muta mobility is just so strong that top level Koreans, they'll never lose to Hydras. But at this level, they're perfectly legitimate. If you have a 1A fight of equal resources Hydras versus equal resources mutas, the Hydras can absolutely win. So it's not something that you should never do. It's just something that you never see at the top level because mutas are so scary when you have that level of control.
Also, should be noted, because he has an Evo chamber, he could actually upgrade his Hydras to make them a little more effective too against the mutas. +1 attack, I guess, would probably be best. I'm not entirely sure. ZVZ's not my matchup, but it's something he could consider doing, is upgrading his Hydras.
Yeah, an upgrade, actually, we actually see that started. +1 attack is going for the evolution chamber right now. And that's a big investment in gas for sort of long-term strength. I'm not sure if that's the best decision. So the only reason this would work is if you're expecting to be able to hold your natural and expand behind your opponent. Because by the time this is done, unless you're just massing for some weird timing, it's going to be hard for that to be effectively used. We see drones behind this. There's only 6 Hydras, and for 100 gas, you can have another 4 Hydras. So that's much better than having +1 on all those 6.
Yeah, and some of the Hydra upgrades might have been better. They're still slow. I don't know if he got range or not.
Yeah, both of the Hydra upgrades I would absolutely get before investing in the +1 attack. Being in a defensive posture here, it's not super critical to go for speed, but especially if you're going to try to take your expansion and you don't have enough Hydras to cover both sides, you're going to want that ASAP. So we do see a lair started as well. Not sure what the thinking is there. If these Hydras are just sort of a stopgap, if he's trying to full Allandarity and then catch up on the mutas, but the longer this goes, Allandarity's been mining from 2 gas for some time. He's actually got almost full saturation on 2 bases. This is unheard of for ZVZ. It's going to be very hard to come back from this.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have the units to do anything to punish Allandarity for making all these. He's just using his own Mutalisks to kind of keep Sir Dubadoof here in 1 base while he drones up 2 bases, gets a really strong economy, and then he can just run him over. We can even see the supply difference right now, 48 to 16.
Yeah, the mutant numbers are strong enough that they can fight the small amount of Hydras that Sir Dubadoof made, and still don't have the upgrades complete. So this is such a long time that you've invested into these resources, but you don't have anything. If that 100 gas was 4 more Hydras, it's possible he could have pushed those mutas away. But as it is, they all died, and now he's stuck on 1 base for even longer. I wouldn't be surprised to see Allandarity go for a 3rd, and actually there it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I like this. I mean, he can get away with it, and he can afford it. He's just getting further and further ahead.
Yeah, and he's actually got little Ling spotters at a lot of the maps, a lot of the expansions on the map. So that's a great move to know that there's nothing hidden that someone's getting away with. That's a great move when you think you're ahead, but you're not able to just kill your opponent. You have to make sure that they don't have a hidden expansion because that can throw the game on its head.
Yeah, and we actually see a Queen's Nest just finishing up now for allandaritay. I would assume that means he's going in for a Hive play, maybe a Greater Spire or something. We'll have to see what he wants to do with that.
Yeah, that's sort of interesting. So a Hive is a great when you get into a late game situation, Hive is a great equalizer because if you're behind and you get a plague on their clump of mutas, it doesn't matter how many mutas they have. Vice versa, you can also go for swarms. You can go for greater spire tech. Lots of things there. If you're already ahead, it's a little strange. I guess he's just trying to spend his money.
He does have a lot of gas.
He's got a ton of gas, and it's not a bad choice, but I think just mass would be a little bit preferable. I mean, Hydras are decent versus mutas, but they're not so good versus mutaling, let's say. So with this many hatcheries, this much mining, I think just a full mutaling attack would probably take Sir Dubadoof down, especially since he's not even controlling his ramp. He doesn't have the army to just hold that, so you can get those lings up there very easily.
We actually have a Hydralisk den now that's upgrading lurkers for allandaritay. I'm not sure. Like maybe he's gonna try and do some lurker player, just use them to defend the possible Hydra attack.
Yeah, that's
I'm not sure.
interesting. I mean, lurkers are strong in ZVZ, but they're just so costly, and they only work versus the ground units. So usually, when your opponent's making Mutalisks, they're not worth even investing in. In this case, I can see the reasoning, but again, I think just pure mutiling mass would be a better way to go. But certainly, allandaritay can do a lot of things from his position right now.
Oh, now he's throwing down an Ultralisk Cavern. He's just going
Oh,
full on tech.
he just wants tech. He just wants all the tech. I can respect that. Tech is good. Yeah, I think Sir Dubadoof needed to get that second expansion going at some point. Needed to put that in the game plan when he decided to transition. I think the Hydra transition was very smart. But I think rather than going for these upgrades, get enough Hydras that you can push the mutas away, and then get this hatchery up. Because you have to know your opponent's expanded. You have to know your opponent's getting enough mutas to harass. So that would have put you in a decent situation. He's getting the expansion now, but it's quite a few minutes too late, I think. Opponent's been on 3 base versus 1 for the whole game. And at this point, it's going to be very difficult for him to get any real resources out of that.
And I mean, the Hydralisks are still slow, so they take a while to get back to these Mutalisks to attack them. And he's not. I mean, once Ultralisks come out, he's just gonna run over the Hydras anyway. So.
Yeah, but allandaritay doing a great job with these mutas, just trying to get whatever damage he can. Just staying aggressive with them. So even though he's back at home macroing with quite a lot of drones, that's a crazy amount of drones for ZVZ.
Yes. Looks like a different matchup almost.
It really does, and I would assume he's got crack at this point for his lings. So you know he's just got all the tech, he's got all the econ, and unless Sir Dubadoof can kill these mutas off and just make some ridiculous attack while allandaritay has droned too hard, I think this game is just running away.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's making the Ultralisks now. He's getting Ultralisk upgrades, armor upgrade at the moment, and he's morphing some lurkers in his natural. He's just gonna like throw everything Zerg at Sir Dubadoof here in a minute.
We got Chess in the chat asking for either mutiling mass or defilerling hive ? Defilers seem good. Defilers are definitely good, but defilers are much better defensively than offensively. You can't really march your defilers across the map and hope to get too much done, but if you have a defiler near your min line and mutas come to snipe, then all of a sudden they're all plagued. So defilers are very strong defensively. That's why I kind of would expect Sir Dubadoof to be going for this first, but he really didn't have the resources to go for hive here.
Sir Dubadoof is actually upgrading lurkers himself now too.
Oh, we have the attack now started for allandaritay. He's got quite a lot here. The lurker upgrade is questionable. He's been really getting a lot of damage from mutas, and lurkers do not shoot up. They will be pretty good versus all of the ultras that are coming, but unfortunately it's a little too late. And the attack is at his front.
I don't think he's got enough to hold off. I mean, he doesn't even have anything to detect these lurkers that are burrowed here. He just got to back up, and he's just losing everything. So.
Yeah, at the very least he's losing his nat. But it looks like he's probably just going to lose everything. So well played, but honestly, after that build order loss, it's going to be very difficult to come back. And Sir Dubadoof gave it a try, but allandaritay was able to just stay ahead for the whole game there. So well played.
Yeah, it was an interesting, different kind of a ZVZ we don't normally get to see.
It was definitely a little atypical. So you know, slightly fresh in that sense. I like the transition to Hydras when you're in that spot. I think that was a sign of good thinking. But he's just too far behind, unfortunately.